The old house stood on a hill, shrouded in silence, its once grand facade now a ghostly silhouette against the evening sky. Emma, newly orphaned and feeling lost, inherited the house from her grandmother, a woman she barely knew. It was a sprawling Victorian mansion filled with dusty furniture and the faint scent of decay, as if time itself had forgotten this place. Emma wandered through the rooms, her footsteps echoing in the stillness, each step stirring up memories she never had. In the attic, she discovered a tarnished, ornate mirror, hidden beneath a layer of dust and cobwebs. It was strangely captivating, its silver surface dulled with age, yet it seemed to hold secrets within its depths. Emma ran a finger across the cool glass, feeling a connection to the past she couldn't quite explain. A chill ran down her spine, as if the house itself was whispering to her. The house seemed to hold its breath, waiting, watching. She dismissed the feeling and continued exploring, determined to uncover the mysteries of her inheritance. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the attic floor, Emma found herself drawn back to the mirror, unable to resist its pull. She stood before it, her reflection staring back. But there was something different, something unsettling. It was then that she noticed it, a flicker of movement in the depths of the mirror, like a shadow passing behind her. A shadow, indistinct and fleeting, yet undeniably there. Emma blinked, her heart pounding in her chest. The shadow was gone, but the feeling of being watched remained. She tried to convince herself it was just her imagination, a trick of the fading light and her tired mind, but a deep unease settled in her stomach. A sense that something was not right. The mirror, she realized, was more than just an old relic. It was a window to something beyond her understanding. It held a presence, something dark and unknown, lurking just beneath the surface, waiting to be discovered. The days that followed were filled with a growing sense of unease. Emma felt a constant chill in the air, an invisible weight pressing down on her. Emma couldn't shake off the memory of the shadow in the mirror. It haunted her thoughts, creeping into her mind at the most unexpected moments. She found herself drawn to it, compelled to look, even though each time sent shivers down her spine. The fear was palpable, yet she couldn't resist the pull. Strange things began to happen. Objects moved inexplicably. Books fell off shelves, doors creaked open on their own, and lights flickered without reason. Whispers seemed to emanate from the walls, too faint to decipher. They were like ghostly echoes, filling the house with an eerie presence. One night, Emma woke from a restless sleep to the sound of her name being whispered. It was soft, almost tender, but filled with a chilling intent. Her heart pounded in her chest as she sat up in bed, listening intently. The whispering continued, growing louder and more insistent. The whispering continued, soft and insidious, seeming to come from the direction of the attic. It was as if the house itself was calling to her. Fear propelled her out of bed. She moved quickly, her mind racing with thoughts of what she might find. She made her way to the attic, her bare feet silent on the cold wooden floor. Each step felt like a journey into the unknown. The attic was bathed in moonlight, the mirror gleaming ominously in the darkness. Shadows danced on the walls, creating an atmosphere of dread. Emma cautiously approached it, her breath catching in her throat. The air was thick with tension, every nerve in her body on edge. There, in the mirror's reflection, stood the shadowy figure. It was more than just a shadow, it was a presence, dark and foreboding. This time it was clearer, more defined. The figure seemed almost solid, as if it could step out of the mirror at any moment. A tall, gaunt figure cloaked in darkness. Its form was skeletal, its movements slow and deliberate. Its eyes glowed with an unnatural light. They were like twin orbs of fire, burning with a malevolent intensity. Emma stumbled back in terror, her hand flying to her mouth to stifle a scream. The fear was overwhelming, almost paralyzing. The figure remained in the mirror, its eyes locked on hers. There was a connection, a sinister bond that she couldn't break. Then, as quickly as it had appeared, it vanished. The mirror was empty, but the sense of dread lingered. Emma was left trembling, her heart pounding against her ribs. The encounter had shaken her to her core. She knew then that she was in danger. The mirror was not just a window to another world. It was a threat, a portal to something sinister. The mirror was not just haunted, it was a portal to something sinister. Emma realized she had to find a way to close it, to protect herself from the darkness that lurked within. Desperate for answers, Emma delved into the history of the house and the mysterious mirror. She spent countless hours in libraries and historical societies, poring over old documents and faded photographs, hoping to uncover the truth behind the eerie occurrences. She meticulously examined every piece of information she could find, from ancient manuscripts to forgotten letters. Each discovery seemed to pull her deeper into a web of secrets and shadows. Slowly, a chilling story began to unfold. The mirror, she learned, had a dark and bloody past. It was not just an ordinary antique, but a relic with a sinister history. It had belonged to a wealthy merchant in the 1800s, a man rumored to be involved in dark magic and occult practices. His name was whispered in fear, and his deeds were shrouded in mystery. Legend had it that he had made a pact with a malevolent entity, offering his soul in exchange for power and wealth. The contract, written in blood, bound him to a fate worse than death. The mirror, it was said, was a conduit to the other side, a way for the entity to enter the mortal realm. It was a portal, a gateway that bridged the living and the dead. The merchant's reign of terror ended abruptly when he was found dead in his study, his eyes wide with terror, his reflection in the mirror said to have been replaced with a horrifying visage. The townsfolk spoke of his screams echoing through the night. The mirror vanished after his death, resurfacing years later in Emma's grandmother's possession. It had become a family heirloom, passed down through generations, carrying with it the weight of its dark history. Emma's research only deepened her fear and paranoia. She became convinced that the entity was real and that it was now targeting her. The more she uncovered, the more she felt its presence, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike.